Hello students, welcome to the biology class. Today we are going to continue with our chapter Body Fluids and Circulation. And today we are going to start with our very important topic, that is the cardiac cycle. It is the cyclic contraction and relaxation of heart for pumping blood and divided into the three phases, that is the joint diastole, arterial systole and ventricular systole. So first we are having the joint diastole. It is the relaxed state of all the heart chambers, means all the four chambers of the heart, they are in the relaxed state. When tricuspid and the bicuspid valves open and blood from pulmonary vein and the vena cava flows into the left and the right ventricles respectively through the left and the right atria. Semilunar valves are closed at that stage. Next is your atrial systole. So SA node generates an action potential. As a result, both atria contract and it is called as the atrial systole. This increases the flow of blood into the ventricular by 30%. Next is your ventricular systole. So action potential is conducted to the ventricular site. From SA node passes into the AV and then into the bundle of His, that is a tissue, to the ventricular site by AV node to the AV bundle, from where the bundle of His and transmit it through the ventricular musculature. As a result, the ventricles contract and this is called as the ventricular systole. During this, the atria undergo the diastole, means the relaxed position. Ventricular systole increases the ventricular pressure, causing the closure of the tricuspid and the bicuspid valve due to the attempted backflow of the blood into the atria. Semilunar valves open, so the deoxygenated blood enters into the pulmonary artery from right ventricle and oxygenated blood enters the aorta from the left ventricle. Ventricles now relax, that is called as the ventricular diastole, and the ventricular pressure falls, causing the closure of the semilunar valves, which prevent the backflow of the blood into the ventricle. Tricuspid, bicuspid valves are opened by the pressure in the atria. Ventricle and the atria again undergoes the joint diastole and the cardiac cycle is repeated. A cardiac cycle is completed in 0.8 seconds. One heartbeat is equal to the one cardiac cycle. So normal heartbeat 70 to 75 times per minute. Average is 72 times per minute. So stroke volume and the cardiac output. The volume of the blood auricle during this 100 ml, volume of the blood or ventricle per minute rate 70 to 72. So this is the stroke volume and cardiac output. The next we will discuss about the heart sounds. We are having a two heart sound, that is the lub and dub. So during each cardiac cycle, the two heart sounds are produced. The first sound, that is lub, is due to the closure of tricuspid and the bicuspid valves, and the second sound is due to the closure of semilunar valves. The one heartbeat is equal to a lub plus dub. Electrocardiograph, that is ECG. It is an instrument used to obtain the electrocardiogram. Electrocardiogram is a graphical presentation. This is a graphical presentation of electrical activity of the heart during the cardiac cycle. To get an ECG, the patient is connected to the machine with the three electrical leads, one to each wrist and to the left ankle, that monitor the heart activity. For detailed evaluation of the heart function, multiple leads are attached to the chest region. An ECG consists of the following waves, that is your P wave that represents the excitation, depolarization of atria which cause the atrial systole. QRS complex represents the depolarization of ventricular systole, that is ventricles, and the T waves represents the repolarization of ventricle. Deviation in the ECG indicates the abnormality or disease, so ECG has a great clinical significance. Double circulation, it is seen in the human beings. It is a circulation in which the blood flows through the heart twice for completing its circuit, and that includes pulmonary circulation or systematic circulation. Pulmonary circulation between the lungs and the heart, deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle to the pulmonary artery, and then it goes to the lungs for the oxygenated blood to the pulmonary vein to the left atrium. Whereas that is the systematic circulation between the heart and the various body parts, oxygenated blood, that is oxygenated blood from the left ventricle to the aorta, from aorta to the arteries, from arteries to the arterioles, capillaries, tissues, and deoxygenated blood from the tissues to the venules, from the veins vena cava to the right atrium. Systematic circulation provides nutrient, O2 and other substances to the tissues and takes CO2 and other harmful substances away for the elimination. So this is pulmonary and the systematic circulation, that is towards the separated oxygenated and deoxygenated circulation. So this is the deoxygenated side and this is the oxygenated side. So we are having the hepatic portal system. It is the system which includes the hepatic portal vein, so that carries the blood from intestine to the liver before it is delivered to the systematic circulation. So coronary circulatory system, it is the system of the coronary vessels that circulate the blood to and from the cardiac musculature, so which is surrounding your heart and giving and taking the blood from the heart, that is called as the coronary circulation. So next we are going to discuss the regulation of the cardiac activity. Our heart is myogenic heart, means controlled by the muscles. Medulla oblongata regulates the cardiac activity through the autonomic nervous system. Sympathetic nerves of ANS, means autonomic nervous system, increase the rate of the heartbeat, the strength of the ventricular contraction and the cardiac output, whereas sympathetic nerves of ANS decrease the heart rate, conduction of the action potential and the cardiac output. So adrenal medullary hormones increase the heart rate. Now, after discussing about the various components of the heart, the functioning of the heart, now we will discuss the second part of the blood vascular system, that is your lymphatic system. It includes the lymph vessels and the lymph nodes or the glands. As the blood passes through the capillaries in the tissue, some water and the soluble substances are filtered out from plasma to the intercellular spaces to form the tissue interstitial fluid. It has the same mineral distribution as that in the plasma. Some tissue fluid enters the lymphatic system and the tissue fluid in them is called as the lymph. It drains back to the major veins. Lymph is colorless fluid that contains the lymphocyte. So here you can see that is the tissue fluid absorbs, that is the body cells. So they are having an interstitial fluid which is present in the tissues and they carries the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood back to the veins. Function of the lymph. It is the middleman between the blood and the tissue. Tissue fluids helps in the exchange of the nutrient and the gases between the blood and the cell. It carries plasma proteins synthesized in the liver to the blood. transport digested fat to the lacteal, which is the largest lymph vessel in the intestinal villi, fat-soluble vitamins, hormones, filtration of bacteria and the foreign particles, lymph node produce WBCs, that is lymphocytes and antibodies. Now we will discuss the disorders of the circulatory system. That is hypertension, that is the high blood pressure. The pressure of the circulating blood on the walls of the blood pressure is called as the blood pressure. So normal BP is 120/80 mmHg. It includes the systolic pumping pressure, that is 120, and diastolic resting pressure, that is the 80. So when the blood pressure is higher than the normal BP, it is called as an hypertension. If an individual repeatedly has a BP of 140/90 or above, it shows the hypertension, and it leads to the heart disease and affects the vital organs like brain and kidney. When the blood pressure is higher than the normal BP, it is called as an hypertension. And if individual is repeatedly having this, so we can say that is the vital organs like brain and kidney that is going to be affected, and we avoid taking the various salt and alcohol and take the low natural foods in the form of a fruits and vegetable to maintain your blood pressure. The next is your coronary artery disease or atherosclerosis. Here the calcium, fat, cholesterol and fibrous tissue are deposited in the coronary arteries. It takes the lumen of the artery narrow and thereby affects the blood supply. Angina, an acute chest pain due to the oxygen deficiency to the heart muscle. It occurs due to the improper blood flow. It's common among the middle-aged and the elderly. Heart failure, that is, it is the inability of the heart to pump the blood enough to meet the needs of the body. Congestion to the lungs is the main symptom. Then cardiac arrest. Here the heart stops beating. Heart attack is the plumbing problem. Cardiac arrest is the electrical problem. Heart attack, it is a sudden damage of the heart muscle due to the inadequate blood supply. So the blocked blood flow, plague is there, damage the muscles. So with this we finish the very important chapter, that is the body fluids and its circulation. Go through it, consult your NCERT for the same, and stay home, stay happy. Thank you and have a nice day.